Welcome to Post. I'm your host, Neil, aka Snackback, and today, on the very first episode of Post to Post, we are going to be talking about the active NHL players and the all-time top 500 point rankings. So before we begin, I want you to think about the current active NHL players who you think are in the top 500 points in this list. I tell you what, some of the names surprised me, and I bet they'll surprise you too, so let's go through them. Name number 1 is Jaromir JAGR. Now, I don't have to tell you that he just got to number 2 on the all-time points list. He passed Mark Messier last week. He has currently 1,889 points. He is 1,889 points in 1,664 games, and he's 44 years old, folks. You know what? This guy has been around forever. He took a few years off and didn't play in the NHL. He played over in Europe. And can you imagine if he had stayed in the NHL, how many points he would have had? I think he would have been in the 2,000 mark for sure. Obviously, still quite a bit far behind Wayne Gretzky. So is everyone. No one's going to catch Wayne Gretzky. Extreme accomplishment for Jaromir JAGR. He's now number 2 all time with 1,889 points. He's 44 years old, and in my opinion, I think he has 3 years left. So I think he's going to retire at the age of 47. Although he said he wants to play until he's 50, I honestly believe that he's got 3 years left after this year. So for each name on this list, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say at the end how many years I think that they have left in their careers, in my opinion. So number 2 on the list is Joe Thornton, Big Joe. He's ranked number 25 on the all-time 500. He's got 1,401 games played, and he has 1,364 points. That's almost a point per game average. That's really impressive. He's 37 years old. He's a little younger than I thought he was. So I'm going to say that he's got 2 years left, and I think he's going to play them both with San Jose. Next on the list is JAROMIR, and I feel like this guy's been around forever, and he has been. He's had a very lengthy career with multiple teams, and he's number 34 all time. He's played 1,507 games, and he's got 1,281 points. He's 39 years old, and you know what? He's still going strong. I think he's got a few years left in him. I think he's got 2 years left. That's my prediction for him. Number 4 on the list is MARIAN, and this one surprised me. I knew he was on the list. I didn't think he was this high. He's ranked 58th all-time in points. He's got 1,270 games played. He's got 1,112 points. He's 37, and he's had a lot of injuries in his career, not just later in his career, early in his career as well. And I think he's on the ropes. He's on the downswing, and I think he's got 1 year left after this one. That's my opinion. Next up is Patrick MARLEAU, probably one of the most underrated players in the NHL. He's ranked number 68th. He's played 1,445 games. He's got 1,049 points. He's 37. I think he's hit his max. I think this year is really probably should have been his last year, but I think he's got 1 more year left. I think he'll stick around for the next season. Next we have HENRIK, and we all know how good of players both the SEDINs are, but HENRIK was ranked a little higher than I thought he would be. He's 84th. He's played 1,201 games. He's got 992 points, and he's 36, so I can see him probably playing until he's 39, and same with Daniel, who's also on this list. Both of them will probably have probably 3 years left. Next up is Alexander Ovechkin, and this is one of the most impressive names on this tally. I don't have to tell you how good Alexander Ovechkin is. He is amazing, and he's ranked 85th. He's played 871 games. He's got 990 points. That's like 1.1 points per game, or 1.13, whatever points per game. That's really impressive. He's only 31, and I think he's going to be playing for a while. He'll play until he gets a cup, whether that's he's 38 or 42. I think he's going to keep playing until he gets a cup. And but I'm going to say that he plays for another 8 years. I think he's going to be 39 when he retires. Next up, we have Sid the Kid, who's not really a kid anymore. He's ranked 89th on the list. He's got 736 games played with 976 points total. He's very close to Ovechkin. I don't want to say he's going to pass him this year. I think he'll pass him next year, but he very well could pass him this year. He's only 29, and I think he's got 9 years left. He's going to keep going. He's going to have a long career. Next up is Daniel SEDIN. He's 92nd on the list. He's played 1,178 games. He's got 964 points. Like I said, like his brother, he's 36. I think he's got about 3 years left. Next up is Shane Doan, and this guy's been around forever, literally forever. He played on the original Winnipeg Jets team. He's the only surviving original team member of the Winnipeg Jets still on the Coyote franchise, or still in the Coyote franchise, sorry. And he's got 1,499 games played, so he'll jump up into the 1,500 game mark this season. He's got 954 points, really impressive, and he's 40 years old right now. I think he's really at the edge of his at the edge of his time. I think he's going to play one more season after this current one. Next up was HENRIK ZETTERBERG. He's 124th on the list, so we've jumped down the list a little bit. There's a big gap there. He's played 952 games. He's got 859 points. He's 36, and ZETTERBERG has had some injury issues, but I think he's actually going to play probably another 3 years. He's been pretty healthy recently, and I think he's going to play until he's 39. Next up on the list is one of those names that I was surprised to see so high. It's Jason SPEZZA. He's had a lengthy career with Ottawa. He's now playing with Dallas. He's fitting in really nicely there, and he is 137th. He's got 871 games played with 830 points. That's almost a point per game player. That's impressive. I didn't realize that Jason SPEZZA was that close. He's 33. He's a lot younger than I thought he was, and so I'm going to say he's got 5 years left. I think he's going to play till he's 38. Next we have Eric Staal, and he's ranked 152nd on the list. He's got 962 games played, and he's got 809 points. He's 32. He's a little younger than I thought he was, and so I'm going to say he's got 6 years left. I think he's going to play till he's 38 at least. And next we have EVGENI MALKIN, one of the most underrated players in the league, mainly because he's overshadowed by Sidney Crosby. If EVGENI was on any other team, he would be the superstar, and he's ranked 159th. He's got, with 679 games played, he's got 799 points, more than a point per game player, and he is 30 years old. I think he's got 7 years left. He's had some injury issues, but I think he's got 7 left. I think he's going to retire at 37 at the earliest. He probably's got a few more years than that, but I'm going to say 37 is when he retires. And the next name on the list, this name pissed me off. It's probably going to piss you off. It's Mike Ribeiro. Yes, Mike Ribeiro is 164th on the list of all-time point getters in the NHL history. Mike Ribeiro, 164th. What? How is Mike Ribeiro that high? He's got 1,060 games played, 787 points. He's 36. I think he's got 3 years left. He's probably going to retire when he's 39, but this really pisses me off. Like, Mike Ribeiro is such a dweeb. He's just, his cheap shots and his crying and his whining and his inability to fight and stand up for himself is just, there's not many players in the NHL that I dislike, but Mike Ribeiro is definitely one of them, and it's frustrating to see him on this list. I just don't like him as a player. Sorry if you're a Mike Ribeiro fan. I just don't like him. But you know what? He is on this list, and as painful as it is to say, if he's got 787 points and he's 164th on the all-time list, that's still an accomplishment, and I still have to respect that. So, and that's what I'll do. Next on the list is MARIAN GABORIK, and he's 169th on the list. He's got 945 games played. He's got 777 points, and he's 34. And Gaborik's had some injury issues, and because of that, I'm going to say that he's got 3 years left. I think he's going to retire a little early at the age of 37. Next up on the list is Ryan GETZLAF, and he surprised me a little bit, not necessarily where he is positionally, but just a few stats on him. So Ryan GETZLAF is 176 on the list. He's got 819 games played, 769 points total. He's 31. He's a little younger than I thought he was. I thought he was mid-30s, and I think he's probably got 7 years left. He's going to play at least until he's 38. This is a guy who loves hockey. He's going to be there for the long run. 38 at the earliest, maybe push 40, 41. He's a great player. Next up, we have Rick Nash. He's 187th on the list. He's played 952 games. He's got 753 points. He's 32. So he's a little younger than I thought he was as well. And so I'm going to say he's got 5 years left. He's going to retire at 37. He's had some injury issues. He's a great player, but he's one of the ones that's been plagued with injuries his most of his career. Next up, we have ANZE KOPITAR, and he joins the list of one of the most underrated players in the league. I love ANZE KOPITAR. I'm not a big fan of the LA Kings, but ANZE KOPITAR is one of my all-time favorite players. He's 225th on the list, so we've dropped down a little bit more. He's got 793 games played. He's got 700 points, which is really impressive. He's 29. He's 29. That's a lot younger than I thought. I'm gonna say he's got 8 years left. I think he retires at 37. I'm not picking 37 for everyone just thinking they're gonna retire. I just think he's gonna last another 8 years at 37. Next up we have Patrick Kane. He's 228th. He's got 694 games played, 697 points total, more than a point per game player, and everyone knows how good Patrick Kane is. He's amazing. He's only 28, and he's got at least 9 years left. His name will skyrocket up this list over the next couple years, and he may even break the top 20 or 15 by the end of his career. Next up we have Corey Perry, GETZLAF's partner in crime. He's 232nd on the list, and Corey Perry's played 839 games with 691 points, and Corey Perry's only 31. I think him and GETZLAF were drafted the same year, and he's got 8 years left. I'm saying he plays till he's 39. And next on this list is one of those names that surprised me, Matt Cullen. Yes, Matt Cullen is 249th on this list. He's played 1,329 games. He's got 672 points. He's 40 years old. I'm not surprised that Matt Cullen's on this list because he's a bad player. I think Matt Cullen's a very smart, a very good, a very experienced player, but he's 40 years old, and because of that, I think this is his last year. And you know what? I hope it's not his last year. I hope we see him play a little longer. But I think this is his last year. I think he's going to get phased out at the last year. But he's the kind of guy that he's got hockey in his blood. He'll be with the Pittsburgh organization, or if not the Pittsburgh, another organization, whether it's a scout or a player assistant or a junior player coach or something like that. We'll see Matt Cullen one way or the other in the NHL world from here on after his NHL career as a player. Next on the list is Nicholas Backstrom. He's 250th on the list, so right in the middle of our top 500. He's got 684 games played, 671 points, so he's very close to being a points per game player. Nicholas Backstrom, very underrated. Often his success or his talent gets overshadowed by Alexander Ovechkin, but Nicholas Backstrom, very good player. He's only 29. I'm going to say he's got 8 years left. I'm going to say he retires when he's 37. Next on the list is Thomas Vanek, and this name surprised me. Again, not really because he's a bad player. I think Thomas Vanek is a very talented player, but Thomas Vanek is a very injury-prone player. He's been injured a lot in his career for every team he's played for. He's 251st on the list. He's got 840 games played, 667 points. He's 32 years old. I think he's got 5 years left at the max. Probably 37 is probably his limit. I think he might even retire at 36, but I'll bump him up to 37. Next we have Scott Hartnell, and he's 253rd on the list. He's played 1,141 games. He's got 666 points. He's 34. Scott Hartnell is a trooper. He'll be around for a while. I think he's going to play until he's 39. I think he's got 5 years left. Next on the list is Justin Williams, Mr. Game 7 himself. He's 267th on the list. He's played 1,032 games. He's got 645 points. He's 35 years old. I thought Justin Williams was much older than that. I would have guessed 40. He's 35. I think he's got 2 years left. He's had some issues on and off the ice in the past couple of years. He's had a few injuries. I think he's got 2 years left, maybe at the most, maybe even one. But yeah, I'm going to say that he retires when he's 37. Next on the list is Zach Parise, again, one of the most underrated players in the NHL. If you don't get a chance to watch Minnesota much, the next time you get a chance, keep your eye on Zach Parise. Very, very smart hockey player. He makes a lot of percentage smart plays. He's 279th on the list. He's played 785 games. He's got 632 points. He's only 32, a lot younger than I thought. And I'm going to say he's got 6 years left. He's going to play till he's 38 at least. So next on the list is PATRICE BERGERON. He's ranked 285th. He's got 853 games played, 628 points total. He's 31 years old. I'm going to say he's got 7 years left. He's going to play until he's 38 at the least, I think. And this is a name that surprised me, not necessarily because of how high he is, but how low he is. I thought that he would be higher. I know he's one of the best defensive forwards in the game, but I really thought that PATRICE BERGERON would be a little higher than, let's see, 285th. Next on the list is Jeff Carter, and he's ranked 296th. He's played 829 games. He's got 613 points total. He's only 31. I think he's got 7 years left. I think he's going to play till he's 38. Next up, we have one of my favorites. Just kidding, not favorites. Phil Kessel. What a guy. What a character. He's ranked 297th. He's got 785 games played. He's got 613 points. And get this, Phil Kessel is 29 years old. What? Phil Kessel is 29 years old. Phil Kessel looks like he's 40. How the hell is Phil Kessel 29 years old? I literally don't believe that he's 29 years old. I'm older than Phil Kessel. I'm going to be 31 in 4 months. You're telling me that I'm older than Phil Kessel? That's bullshit. Phil Kessel is not 29. I think he's got 8 years left. I think he's going to play till he's... I think he's going to play till he's 37. Phil Kessel is going to retire at 37, and Phil Kessel's a great player. I make fun of him, but Phil Kessel is a great player. I think his name would be higher on this list if he wasn't stuck with Toronto all those years. No offense, Toronto fans. I think he deserves to be a little higher if he had have had the supporting cast that he does in Pittsburgh, in Toronto for all those years. Phil Kessel's name would be way higher on this list. I think Phil Kessel, it fits in Pittsburgh perfectly, and Phil Kessel's name is going to skyrocket up this list, I believe. Next up on the list is Mike Camilleri. He's ranked 310th. He's got 807 games played, 601 points. He's 34. I think he's got at least 5 years left. I think he's going to play until he's 39 at least, maybe even 40, 41. He's in great shape. He's active. He's a health nut. I think he could push 40s, and he's a very underrated player, very, very smart hockey player, very valuable to the New Jersey Devils. Next up is Joe Pavelski. He's ranked 316th. He's played 759 games. He has 595 points. He's 32 years old. That surprised me. I thought Joe Pavelski was a little older than that, and I'm going to say he's got 7 years left. He's probably played till he's like 38, 39. Next on the list, we have Patrick Sharp, and he is ranked 332nd. He's had 832 games played. He's got 583 points. He's 34, and I'm going to say he retires at the age of 37 because he has had some injury issues. I think he's on the downswing of his career. Next up is our first defenseman of the list, Zdeno Chara. Yes, Chara is on the list. He's 333rd overall. He's played 1,305 games. He has 583 points, and he is currently 39 years old. And 39 is probably, for a guy like that, for a guy that tall, his body's taken quite the beating over the years. I still think he's got 2 years left. I think he can push 41. He's in great shape. He is a health freak. He's in the best shape of his life, probably, much like JAGR. I really do think he can play for at least until he is at least 41. I think he's still probably valuable to a lot of teams at 41. Maybe even Vegas. Who knows? His experience that he can bring to a locker room will probably be invaluable to a young team like that. So I think he's going to play until he's at least 41 for at least 2 years after this one. And at 334th, we have Steven Stamkos. He's played 586 games. He's got 582 points, so he's almost a point per game player. He's 26 years old, and he has at least 10 years left. Now that puts him at 36 for retiring. The reason I did that is because of injuries. Usually when players get injured in their career, it's towards the end. But Steven Stamkos, he's 26. He's been in the league, 5 years, 6 years, and 7 years, I guess, 6, 7 years. And how many times has he been injured? Like, probably more times than I can count on one hand at least. He's had a broken leg. He's had yada, yada, yada. Like, when you get injured that early in your career, it sets up the rest of your career for potential injuries. I think because of that, he's much like Lindros. His career will come to an early end. I think he's not going to make it past 36, 37 probably at the maximum. But during that time, he will skyrocket up this list. He's going to do some damage on this list. And you know what? I hope I'm wrong. I hope he plays till he's 45 because he's a great player. Next, we have Mr. Hockey, Jonathan Toews. He's ranked 340th. He's got 672 games played with 579 points total. He's 28 years old, so he's got lots of hockey left in him. I think he's got 11 years. He's going to retire when he's 39, and he's going to skyrocket up this list as well. And next we have, again, one of the most underrated players in the NHL, Mikko Koivu. He's ranked 343rd on the list. He's played 796 games. He has 577 points. He's only 33, much younger than I thought. And I think he's got at least 5 more years. He's had some injuries, but I'm going to put him at 5 years, and I think he's going to retire when he's 38. Next, we have Radim Vrata. He's 344th on the list. He's played 967 games, 576 points total. He's 35. I think he's really kind of approaching the last couple years of his career, and he's got 2 years left. I think he's going to retire when he's 37. Next, we have Paul Stastny, another very underrated player. He's got he's ranked 356th. He's got 710 games played, 570 points. He is 30 years old, much younger than I thought, and I think he's got 8 years left. I think he'll play until he's 38. Next, we have Thomas Plekanec. He's ranked 358th, 877 games played, 569 points. He's 34. He's going to be valuable to teams even when he's older. I think he's going to finish up his career in 4 years, probably around 38, 39. Thomas Plekanec, even though I'm not a big fan of Thomas Plekanec, I think he is a little bit underrated. He's going to be very valuable leadership-wise and a grinder-wise. He's very, very good defensive forward. He's going to be very good to younger teams at the end of his career. Next on the list, we have Brian Gionta. He's ranked 358th on the list. He has played 957 games. He's got 567 points. He's 37, reaching the end here. And I think he's got 2 years left. I think he's going to play until he's 39. His leadership alone is very valuable in the Buffalo locker room. Next on the list is one of those names that I think is a little higher than he should be, Chris Kunitz. He's ranked 364th. He's played 842 games. He has 566 points. He's 37, a little older than I thought, and I think he's got 1 year left. I don't know, he'll probably play longer than that. He'll probably play until he's 39 or 40, but I don't know, I just have a feeling that this is his second last year. I think next year will be his last. Moving down the list, we have Alice Hemsky. He's ranked 365th. He's got 824 games played. He's got 565 points. He's only 33, which surprised me. I feel like Alice Hemsky has been around the NHL forever. I remember watching him, I think it was the 2006 Edmonton versus Dallas series and Edmonton versus Carolina series in the playoffs. I felt like he was in the middle of his career then. But yeah, he's only 33. He's got 5 years left at least. I think he's going to play until he's 38. Another very underrated player. Next up, we have Mike Fisher. I've never really been a fan of Mike Fisher, and I'm not sure why. It could be just his face. I just don't really like his face. But he's ranked 372nd on the list. He's played 1,044 games, which really surprises me. I didn't realize that he's played that many. He's got 561 points, and he's 36 years old. And I think he's got probably 2 years left. I think he'll play until he's 38. Next up, we have our second defenseman on the list. We have Andrei Markov. He's played he's ranked 378th. He's played 959 games, and he's got 557 points. So he's only about 30 points behind Chara. So I don't think he's going to pass Chara this season. 30 points in the next 4 months for Markov is probably pushing it pretty good, considering he's also injured right now. But I believe he probably will pass Chara next year. So once that happens, I think Andrei Markov will be the top active defenseman with the most points on the list. And he's 38, so he's a little older than I thought. I think he's played his entire career with Montreal. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right there. I think he has played his entire career with Montreal. So he's 38. I think he's got 2 years left at the most. He's still in really good shape, but I think 40 is really going to be pushing it for Markov. I think that Montreal will look to get rid of Markov actually pretty soon, potentially to Las Vegas in the expansion draft. But still a great player, and we should see him pass Chara in the next year or two for sure. Next up on the list, we have Claude Giroux. He's ranked 387th on the list. He's got 610 games played with 548 points. He's only 28, much younger than I thought, and he's got 8 years left at least. I think he's 36. I think he'll make it past 36, but he'll have a very good career. He's gonna jump up this list pretty quickly. I think he could probably reach, he could probably reach top 75 for sure, maybe even top 50. He's a very good player. Next up, we have Jussi Jokinen, and this really surprised me. Not necessarily how high he is, but how old he is. He's 33. He's a lot younger than I thought. I guess I'm thinking of the other Jokinen. But yeah, Jussi Jokinen is 33. He's ranked 419, so we're up in the 400s now. He has 847 games played. He has 524 points total. I think he's got probably 4 or 5 years left, maybe a little more. He's had some injury issues. And moving down the list again, we have Ryan Kesler. Ryan Kesler. He gets so much hate, and it's so deserved. I have no love for Ryan Kesler, and I don't think many people do. He's a very frustrating hockey player to watch. He takes a lot of cheap shots, but he's on the list at 421st. He has 850 games played with 521 points. He's 32 years old, much younger than I thought, and I'm going to say he's got probably 5 years left. He's going to retire when he's 37, maybe 38, but he's on the list, so kudos to him. Congrats. Next up, we have Louis Eriksson, and this surprised me. I didn't think he was this high. I didn't think he would be in the top 500, but he is. He's 422nd. He's played 760 games with 519 points. He's only 31, and I think he probably has at least 6 years left in him. Next up is Alexander Steen, and he's ranked 451st with 775 games played and 498 points. Another very underrated player. And he's 32. I think he has at least 7 years left. I think he's going to play till he's 39. Next up, we have Brian Campbell, the third defenseman on the list. He's ranked 458th. He has played 1,038 games. He's got 497 points, which really surprises me. No offense, Brian Campbell. And he's 37. I think he's probably got a year left after this one. I could be wrong there. This may be his last year. Next up, we have John Tavares, and he's ranked 461st. He's got 543 games played, 495 points, almost a point per game player. He's only 26, and I think he's got 12 years left. He's going to play until he's at least 38. John Tavares is a fantastic player. David Krejci, he is ranked 465th. He has 659 games played with 492 points. He's only 30, a little younger than I thought. He's had severe injury issues his entire career. I think he only has 5 years left. I think at 35, he's done. Moving down, we have Dustin Brown. He's ranked 475th. He has 916 games played. He has 485 points. He's 32, much younger than I thought. And I think he has 7 year left. He's a trooper. He's going to play till he's 39, I think. And next up, we have Antoine Vermette, a surprising name to see on this list, not because he's bad, just surprised. He's ranked 479th. He's played 945 games with 484 points. He's 34 years old. I think he has 3 years left. I think he's down at 37. And with our fourth defenseman on the list, Duncan Keith, he's ranked 484th. He has 869 games played with 482 points, and he's only 33. I think he's got 7 years left. I think he's going to play till he's 40, maybe 41. Duncan Keith, one of the greats. He's got, I think, 3 Stanley Cups with Chicago now? Yeah, he's not done either. I think he's going to have a great end of his career for the next 7-8 years. Third last on our list today is David Backes. He's ranked 492nd with 758 games played, 477 points. He's 32, much younger than I thought. I thought if you were to ask me, I would have said that David Backes was 37, 38. But no, he's 32, and he's got 7 years left. I got him at 39. Second last is Jamie Benn. He's ranked 493rd. He's played 543 games. He's got 477 points. He's only 27. I can't believe that. I like Phil Kessel is 29. I don't believe that Jamie Benn is 27. It's not possible. I don't believe it. It's witchcraft. But that's what the internet tells me. So he's 27, and I think he's got at least 11 years left. I think he'll play till he's 38. And lastly on our list, rank 499th, the last person within 500 of active players is Andrew Ladd. He's got 802 games played. He's got 474 points. He's only 31, which was a surprise to me. I thought he was a little older. I think he's got 8 years left. I think he's done at 39. So that wraps it up. The names you just heard, those were the active NHL players in the top 500 point rankings. And some of these names surprised me. A lot of them didn't. A lot of them deserve to be there. What I want to know is, who do you think is on this list that's going to jump up? Who's on this list that you think is going to really fall and maybe they'll have a really slow end of their career? Maybe someone like Jussi Jokinen or Ryan Kesler, someone like that. Those two names I think will probably drop down the list. Where do you see Sidney Crosby? Do you see Sidney Crosby potentially getting to the same point total or more than Jaromir JAGR? He's got about 900 points to go to tie JAGR. He's half done his career. Can he do it? Can he get to number 2 overall? Sidney Crosby, I believe, will definitely breach the top 5 unless he's sidelined with injury after injury. I believe Sidney Crosby will crack the top 5. Who else on this list do you think has a chance at cracking the top 5? OVECHKIN, maybe. It's possible. So, you've reached the end of the video. Firstly, thank you. Seriously, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. You know, this was just an idea. I love hockey. I love YouTube. I thought, you know what, let's bring the two together. I've got technical skills. This is what I'm really good at, technical skills. I've got the lights. I've got the equipment. What I don't have is the personality so much. I'm not really good at public speaking. I'm not a good speaker in general. I have jumbled thoughts, and you know, this is what I need to work on. This is going to be the struggle for me, but the more I do it, the better I'll get. So if you've made it this far, and if you liked it, you know, hit the thumbs up. That'll help me. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down. But if you didn't like it, you know, tell me why you didn't like it. Give me some feedback. Give me some suggestions. Don't complain and tell me that my face is stupid. Tell me why you didn't like it constructively, and because that's the stuff that I need to make it better for you guys. And you know, there's not really much on YouTube as far as hockey and like a talk show kind of thing. There's not really a community, so that's kind of the idea I'm going for. I want to interact with you, and I want you to interact with me. I want me to be your voice, and I'd love to read some of the comments that I get and stuff, and some of your hockey opinions. And I hope that we can interact as friends, I guess, mostly. And you know, there's Sportsnet, there's TSN, and there's CBC Sports, and all these big giant corporations who shove hockey agendas down our throat, mostly the Toronto Maple Leafs. No offense, Toronto Maple Leafs fans, but it does happen. It's just an overload of Toronto Maple Leafs, and that's not what this is going to be about. I'm your voice. I will review things that you want me to review, the teams you want me to review. I'm not going to sit here and talk Toronto Maple Leafs for 45 minutes every single day. It's not going to happen. I will talk about Toronto, don't worry, Maple Leafs fans, I will. But this is a show for all 30 teams, or 31 teams, or coming up 32 teams. This is important to me. This is a passion. I love hockey, and you know, I want to create a community. I want to interact with you guys. So like I said, if you liked it, leave a thumbs up, and I really hope you subscribe, because I'm going to be making more of these videos. And tell me what you thought of it down below in the comments, positive or negative. I need to hear your feedback. I need to know what you liked, what you didn't like, any suggestions. I do have lots of hockey friends. I'm Canadian, so by right I'm allowed to talk hockey, and that's what I'll do. My friends love hockey. I'll have them on the show sometimes too. There's lots of stuff that they want to rant about. I told them my idea, and they want to get on here and give their opinions. I've got lots of stuff to complain about and make fun of, and so that's gonna be really fun. I'll be the gateway for all your comments and my friends' opinions and stuff. And you know what? Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I really hope you subscribe, and I really hope I see you next time. Adios. Thanks, guys.